Great day, everyone. Jerisha Hawk here. I'm an income strategist and founder of the Goal Getter Group, where I help women who work a 9-to-5 build a business on the side. I am super excited to be chatting with you all today. This is day one of the Corporate Dropout series. We're going to be doing 3-part series of video training and tutorials on how I went from being a full-time entrepreneur working in corporate America to being a full-time entrepreneur in 14 months. So I'm super excited. As you guys are hopping in live as well as in the replay, hop in the comments, say hey. Let me know where you guys are from, and I would love to just, see where everybody's at and how everybody's doing tonight. So I'm super excited, like I said, to be chatting with you guys. There's been a ton of questions and a lot of just overall excitement for this series, being corporate dropout, me recently leaving corporate America, resigning from my position, and then walking into full-time entrepreneurship. And one thing that was kind of unique about my situation is I didn't take the traditional leap that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in this space, talk about, meaning that you have this idea one day to quit your job and you just decide to just go jump off the deep end and do it. That really wasn't my situation. For me, I was super intentional. One, I never thought I'd be quitting my job this soon. That was never really in my game plan. I loved my corporate career. It was very rewarding. I loved what I did. It paid great salary. Having a side hustle was something that just allowed me to express my passions in a different way. But as my business was growing outside of my 9-to-5, and then it started to actually exceed my salary income on a consistent basis, it really made me start reconsidering, well, one, what is it that I want? And two, what truly makes me happy, and what does freedom in my mind look like? So that's when I made the decision to step out into full-time entrepreneurship. But I think the thing that's kind of unique or different about my situation is there's no financial pressure on me right now. And I think the biggest reason about that, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, is because I've created a really strong bridge, is what I like to call it. I built a bridge over the last year that allowed me to have the choice to decide whether or not I wanted to keep my client as my 9-to-5, or if I wanted to step out on this and do this full time. And I was able to just make a choice to choose to walk across this bridge that I've built over the past year. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, everyone. Hi, Brittany. Hey, Tamika. Hey, Sydney. Hey, Zakia. Latoya. She's watching from New York, but South Carolina native. Hey, Ola from Kansas City. Hey, Keisha. Hello, Whitney from Charlotte, North Carolina. Super excited. Hi, Natalie. Hey, Chanel from Houston. Hi, Katie. Hey, Heather. Hello, everybody. Okay. So I know you guys obviously are interested in today's video more, which I'm super excited about, because we're going to be talking about how to actually replace your salary, even exceed it, to create that stable income, which a lot of us are looking for, so you can actually maintain the quality of life that you're currently now living. If you do want to choose to walk across that bridge and go into full-time entrepreneurship, or if you just want that financial freedom and flexibility to make choices that are not solely dependent on what the number is in your bank account. So as we're watching this, just some house rules. You guys are more than welcome to pop any of your questions that you have in the chat bar or in the comment section here in the Facebook Live. No matter what, I'll make sure to answer everybody's question and make sure everybody gets whatever information they're looking to get out of this session. Also, if you know anybody on your timeline who you think this video series would benefit, please feel free to share this. I'm all about all of us winning. Your wins are my wins. And if there's something that we can be doing, or you think this video and this information is going to be of benefit to somebody on your timeline or in your friend list, feel free to go ahead and share this right along. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Thank you. So like I said, if you guys have questions, don't have to wait. Just pop it in the chat. If I'm able to answer it right away, I will. If not, I'll come back and answer all of the questions. But you know me, I'm ready to just let's dive right in. So I would recommend get out a notebook, get out a pen and pencil. We're definitely going to be taking some notes today. So I want to make sure everybody there is good on the same playing field. And let's go ahead and get started. So really, what is required for you to replace your salary, or maybe even exceed it so you can create stable income? So first and foremost, I want to know in the comment section here, who is interested in being a corporate dropout? Who is watching right now who is interested in actually transitioning out of their 9 to 5? And if you are interested in transitioning out of your 9 to 5, what is your quit date? By when do you actually want to be a full-time entrepreneur? Just so I can gauge the audience. It'd be good for me to know, because we're going to talk about both situations. If you're in the situation now where you have the idea but you don't have a business, or maybe you already have a business and you're working towards it. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people saying me, raising their hand right here. What is your time frame? Or do you guys already have a business already established? Are you already making money? Or what's your situation? Hi, Brittany. February 2018, November 2020. Okay. So a lot of you guys are interested. Quit date of October 1st, 2017. All right. So yeah, 12 months would be great. So I'm seeing a lot of you guys interested in leaving here in the next year or two. 5 months running a business. Okay, this is good to know. So one thing I think first and foremost before, and when I even was in this position, when I started making the decision on whether or not and when I wanted to transition out, you have to know your numbers. And I think a lot of us say this in this world. I think it kind of gets abused, but nobody fully explains on what that means to know your numbers. 6 to 8 months, currently making 5. Okay, January 2020, 1 to 2 years. Okay, good stuff, everybody. So first and foremost, you have to know your numbers, and like write this down, because when I say know your numbers, I don't just mean like you have some vague idea of kind of what your money's coming in and what money's going out. Like you need to know your number. A lot of us say that we want to quit our job or we want to replace our income, but we really don't have a full understanding of what that number actually is. And I think if you don't know your number, there's no way for you to properly measure and manage and track whether or not you're actually, getting closer to that goal or not getting closer to that goal. So when I say know your numbers, I like to look at this as like kind of a good, better, best, and really what is required for you to replace your income. So when I say this, I want you to, there should be 3 categories. So write this down on your notebook or whatever. You need to know your numbers. But when I say know your numbers, get crystal clear on like how much money do you need to be making a month to keep the lights on? Meaning like all of your bills got paid, you were able to, purchase food, you're able to pay your rent, like, you're living I shouldn't say comfortable, like you're getting by, like what's the number to keep your lights on, to have all your bills paid, to keep everything in order, but you're not, doing anything extra, you're not splurging at Target, you're not, going on a vacation necessarily, just what's the number for you to keep your lights on? The next number you need to know is what's your comfortable lifestyle number that you need to be making every month to live comfortably. So all of your bills are taken care of. Maybe you get to go on maybe a weekend trip, just out of town, domestically. Maybe you are able to, get the nails, the hair, the feet done, maybe a massage once a quarter. Like you're living a comfortable lifestyle. And then what's the salary amount that you need to make every month to be like living good? Meaning you can go on the vacations, maybe you can get like the luxury vehicle, whatever that living good is, but you need to know your buckets of numbers. Because when you're trying to build a business, and so many people I often see, and this is really where a lot of individuals go wrong, is saying I need to make more money, I need to create stable income, but they have no idea what that number actually is. And it's hard for you to sit here and say, it's hard for you to track and measure and see if you're doing something accordingly if you don't actually have targets or goals that you're shooting for. So you need to have what's your good number, meaning that all of your lights are still kept on. What's your number for you living comfortably, maybe where you can splurge a little bit but not too much. And then what's your living good lifestyle? What's that living good number where you can, you're living in abundance, you're kind of not worrying about too much, you're able to go on vacations and do the extra luxuries that you want to have. And when you have those 3 numbers, write them down in a place that you see them every single day. Every single day. When I first started, I would write mine on my bathroom mirror. As you guys can see, these big Post-it notes on the back of in my living room. I put my financial goals in a place that I can see on a consistent basis. So the bathroom, how many times a day do you go in the bathroom? You're gonna see the numbers. If you're like me, I like to put it in a space that I'm in often. I'm in my living room all the time. So I like my financial goals sitting up on the wall so I can see them on a consistent basis. So you have to know your numbers. And when I say know your numbers, I mean that just for you to even, before you can even start to even think about whether or not you want to leave or how much money you need to leave, like you need to know what your numbers are, because you need to know what it is you're shooting for. So a lot of us sometimes say that we want to build this business and then we want the business to make $15,000 a month or $20,000 a month before we quit our job. A lot of y'all don't need $20,000 a month to survive and to live a comfortable lifestyle. So it's almost as if you're putting a barrier in the way of you living the lifestyle that you want to live, rather than really being realistic about what your situation is. So I just want, make sure you know your numbers in that regard, and a lot of us here do not need to be making these lofty 5-figure goals necessarily before we choose to drop out of corporate and walk in, in full faith forward in whatever it is our goals and dreams are. So just want everybody to kind of have that reality check. When I did my numbers, it gave me really like a solid peace of mind, knowing, because at first I said, I have to be making, $20,000 to $30,000 a month consistently before I would like quit my job and go do this. And then I did my numbers and realized, like, I don't even know what the hell I would do making $30,000 a month. Like, I didn't even know where I'd even spend that money. So if you don't have a place to spend the money, and I'm not saying don't have ambitious goals, but in order for you to transition out, you probably don't need as much money as you are thinking of, because you haven't actually crunched the numbers. So like I mentioned, you have to know your numbers before we can even get into anything else. So I like to have my 3 buckets, my good, better, best, meaning how much money do I need to keep my lights on? Really, what's the number I need to have like a comfortable lifestyle, and then what's the number for me to be like, living good and like things are great, and I'm traveling and doing all the other fun stuff I want to do. So let me know that, you guys, that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. So and I think that's like the beginning part before we do anything else, is you have to know those numbers. But as you step forward into that, if you already have an existing business where you're actually trying to build it right now, there's some additional numbers that you need to know. And just to make sure that you're properly, managing and tracking your finances. So the second part here that we want to talk about is measuring what actually matters. You have got to learn how to track and measure your growth and measure the actions that you're taking with the time that you have. So if you're working a 9 to 5, most of us aren't really working a 9 to 5. You're working like an 8 to 6. Most people are working probably 8 to 10 hours a day. Some of you ladies on here, gentlemen on here, have families you come home to, you have kids you have to take care of, the dog that you have to walk. After, you've actually gone to your job, and after you have, come home and done your family duties, you probably have around 10 to 20 hours a week to fully dedicate on your business. And when you're working under a strapped amount of time, it is so important for you to make sure that you're leveraging your time effectively. And I know a ton of people, when we first started off this corporate dropout series, I asked the question on really what's a big struggle that you have, or what are you looking to get out of this video series? And a ton of people said time management, time management, time management, time management. And I'm here to let you know that time management is not your issue. Let that sink in. Time management is not your issue. It's the lack of really understanding how to manage the actions, your actions, with the time that you have available. Time management is not your issue. It is the lack of understanding of how you can manage your actions with the time that you have. So when you are operating in the sense where you have 10 or 15 hours a week to dedicate to growing your business, so you can get to the point where you have a solid bridge built, so you can even get to that space where you have the choice to decide on what you want to do in regards to how you spend your time and where you work. You have got to make sure that you're leveraging your time effectively. And that to me has been probably one of the most important attributes that I learned while building my business and getting to this space. Because I've built this business running about 15, at most 20 hours in a week while working my 9 to 5 to get here. And people are like, well, how the hell did you work half the amount of time that you do at your normal 9 to 5 job and double what your salary is? Like, how is that possible? It's because I was very, very good at, making sure that I was managing my actions effectively with the time that I had available. So what that means, and when I say knowing your numbers, the other aspect of the numbers that you have to know is just how are you managing your time effectively, to make sure that you're getting the most done, but that you're focusing on money generating activities. So many of us get caught up being busy that we aren't being productive. And with the actions that we're doing to build this business so we can have this freedom lifestyle, we end up just being busy running on this hamster wheel of I have to make all this blog content, I have to post on social media, you know, I'm following up with people, I'm reading all these blog posts and watching these webinars, and I'm just in this clusterfuck of all this stuff I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not actually I'm not moving the needle, I'm not getting anywhere. So one thing that I want you guys to do is when you are trying to, you know, make sure that you're measuring the things that matter, is how much time are you spending on the activities that you're doing in your business. So I literally want you guys to write a list of everything that you do right now in your business. Every single thing. I don't care how big or small it is, but make sure that you write it down. So meaning, you know, I create social media graphics, I schedule my social media posts, I respond to my emails, I create blog posts, I do Facebook Live videos, I upload my audio to a podcast, I edit my videos. Like literally write down every single thing that you do, meeting with one-on-one clients, attending networking events, I don't know, hosting group coaching. Like literally write down every single thing that you do. And after you wrote down that entire list, I want you to circle all of the activities on that list that are money generating, meaning that those actions you take will produce financial return on whatever that action investment is. And I can guarantee you that you'll probably have a list of 20, 30 things on that list, and there's probably 3 to 5 things on that list that are actually money generating activities. Yes, Sydney, I just listed off a ton of money generating activities. Oh, so she's saying, like, you know, you actually meeting with your one-on-one clients, doing discovery calls so you can get a one-on-one client. For me, my Facebook Lives, they're very intentional. Most of the time they are able to produce some sort of income because of how my system is set up. So just make sure that the things that you're doing actually generate income. You creating content for a digital course is a money generating activity. You know, creating the email sequence for the sales funnel that you're creating is a money generating activity, because those actions directly lead to you making money. So don't get me wrong here, because I know this can probably get a little gray area, because most of us think, well, some of the actions that we're doing, they have like a ripple effect, and eventually they will have a money generating activity, or they will produce income. But if you've noticed over the past 3 to 6 months that maybe you're spending time doing an activity that isn't directly like 1 step away, or at most 2 steps away from you actually making money, I wouldn't consider that a money generating activity for where you're at right now. Because so many of us, especially in the beginning stages, as we're trying to build our business, we spend so much time trying to figure out what it is that we're supposed to be doing. When you either need to make a decision, like in order for you to grow your business, you're going to be using one of 2 resources, time or money. Okay? Time and money are the 2 disposable, I shouldn't even say disposable, but the 2 primary resources you're going to be using to actually grow your business. So when I say time, you're either going to be using time to like figure out how to do it yourself, meaning you're buying courses. Well, I shouldn't even, hopefully you're buying like DIY courses, attending workshops, like you could be listening to webinars and reading blog posts, attending, you know, networking events. There's probably things you could be doing that you're spending time to try to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. The other is you're spending money. Either you're outsourcing and hiring somebody to come on and do it for you, hiring a contractor or a freelancer, or you're hiring a coach to train you on how to do something. And you need to make the decision, because you can do it either way. You can go down the road where you're trying to figure everything out yourself. I can guarantee you it's going to take you a lot longer, and you're going to miss out on a ton of money because you don't know better. And because you're spending time trying to figure out how to do something, and a year passes, 2 year passes. I know some of you guys said you've had an idea and been working on building a business for over 3, 4, 5 years, and you aren't getting any momentum. You need to question the strategies that you're using, because if you're on this road where you're doing everything by yourself and you're not reaping the results, start considering changing your strategy and hiring somebody who can assist you on actually moving the needle and expediting your progress. So you hiring a coach or enrolling in a course or buying a program, the whole part is, and the value of doing that is so you speed up your process. working with a coach or hiring somebody who's been down the path that you're trying to go down will give you kind of fast pass to success if you actually listen to what they're doing or what they're educating you. You've vetted them and made sure they're actually able to help you get the results you're looking to get. So I know we spend a lot of time on this action management, but I think it's so important for those who are in that transition phase, who are trying to build a business while they're still at their 9-to-5 job. Because you only have so much time available to you to even dedicate to doing this. So for some of you guys who are on here saying you want to get out in 6 months, or you want to drop out in a year, or you want to drop out in 2, really be intentional on that, because if you have 15 hours a week for you to dedicate to building your business and building your business bridge so you can walk across and not take the leap necessarily. If you have 15 hours, you should not be spending 13 of those hours trying to figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I would much rather, or like highly recommend, this is exactly what I did in the very beginning of my business when I got super serious, is I hired somebody to tell me what I was supposed to do. I hired somebody who gave me a blueprint, who drew out a roadmap for me and said, do X, Y, Z in this order. When this doesn't go right, you pivot and adjust and you keep it pushing. And that, I can guarantee you, is what has been able to expedite my process. Because when I tell people that, oh, I've been doing this for I had the idea of this business 14 months ago. I got serious in October. From October to July, the fact that I'm making consistent 5 figures a month, like, that's not by accident. That's not because I read the best free blog articles online and I just had the best, email newsletters coming into my inbox. It's because I spent thousands of dollars working with experts to teach me what I did not know so they could fill in gaps for me and speed up my success. And then I looked at the blueprint, applied the strategies to my own situation, and I took off. So many of us get caught up on that initial upfront investment without thinking about the long-term return on the investment and how it's really going to be of benefit to us in the long run. And you have to do that mind shift. So like I said, just to kind of digress here, really making sure that you're managing the actions with the time that you have. Again, write out a full list of everything that you're doing right now to work and operate in your business. Circle all the things that are money generating activities, meaning they either have like a direct correlation to you making money, or maybe at most 2 steps away from you actually generating income. And then everything else on that list, we're going to talk about what to do with it, okay? So make sure everybody's caught up here. Hope the hand isn't cramping from taking notes. But with everything else on that list, either look for opportunities on how can you outsource it, what can wait. So sometimes we think things are urgent, but they're really not important. Like there's tools that you can be leveraging to automate more of your process, which is really what's allowed me to be able to operate in my business for 15 to 20 hours a week, is because so much of my stuff is automated. So for example, if you go on my resources tab on my website, so if you go to jerishahawk.com/resources, all the tools that I use in my business are listed there. And you'll see one that's called Smarter Queue, for example. Smarter Queue is $20 a month, and it's the best $20 a month a girl could ever spend, because it literally auto-populates and schedules my social media for months out. So for example, I'll batch create my social media posts in maybe, an hour, once a quarter, and Smarter Queue, how the system is set up, it'll auto-populate and reschedule my social media posts. So me doing an hour's worth of work will give me social media content for the next 4 to 5 months. That is how you can leverage the actions with the time that you have most effectively. So you're still getting the end result that you need, being present on social media, having fresh new content, making sure people see your blog posts and your podcast episodes and everything else, but I'm not manually doing it. So I would also look on that list that you write out, I want you to write down an M next to everything on that list that you're manually doing right now. So if you're manually scheduling or manually posting all of your social media posts, or anything like that, I want you to write an M next to everything on there that you're manually doing. And this is an opportunity for you to identify either things that you could either be outsourcing and hiring somebody else to do for you, or either how can you learn a better system, a better process, so you can automate more of that. So like Acuity scheduling is another tool that I use. It's my virtual assistant that's $10 a month. Is pretty much the way I look at it. So I wasn't at a space in my business where I could actually hire an assistant. So Acuity scheduling allowed me to collect an intake questionnaire form. It allows me to just send people a link with, based off the type of meeting that we have, and they can schedule it themselves. It auto populates. It auto populates on my iPhone calendar. I get a reminder 30 minutes to an hour before my meeting starts with all the notes that I need inside of the meeting invite. I catch myself up and I meet it with a client. So that's another example of a tool that you could be using, again, to save yourself time so you can be focused on money generating activities. Because while you're in the very beginning stages of your business, and when I say beginning, I mean like you getting to the point where you're making 4 figures a month, making your first 5 figures, the only thing that matters is you need to make sure that you're actually making money. That's it. You need to be making money. We get so caught up in all like the fun, glitzy, glam, cute stuff. Like I need to go pay $4,000 to get my website done. I need to go, do all these fancy photo shoots. Like branding, yes, is important, but branding does not matter to your business if your business does not make money. Or if you haven't like tested out the idea or made sure that whatever business idea that you have is actually money generating. So you have got to be making money at the very beginning. Like you need to make sure that you have a profit plan and that you're actually generating income in the beginning of your business. Branding, yes, is super important. But if you can't brand something that, like, there's no point in you branding something that doesn't have a strategy behind it. Or like, when I say branding, you still need to think about your brand and what your brand image is, but like there's no point in you paying for PR if you have nothing to sell. There's no point in you paying for like a super fancy, expensive like website designer or anything like that if you're not actually generating income. Because the worst thing that I see far too often, and breaks my heart, is somebody who has a beautifully done website and they are broke. Broke. They look good. They got the good weave. Their makeup is flawless. Like they got the cute shoes, but they are broke. They are not making any money in their business. And it's like, good God. You can get cute later, I promise. Okay? We can get cute later. I promise. You can get the glitz and glam. You can get, like done up, get your Beyonce on. But you need to act, if you're in the beginning stages, meaning like you haven't hit 5 figures yet, you need to make sure that you actually have an idea that will generate income. And that is the thing that matters. So you need to be turning over profit and not just running an expensive hobby. So I know we harped on this a lot, but this is probably the most important thing, or one of the most important things while you are at that space trying to create your plan or create this idea of what you need to be doing so you can transition out. It's really getting in and developing the habit. Nobody's great at this. Like people say, well, Jay, you're so good at managing, tracking your goals and managing your time. Y'all, this is something I've been intentionally, like every day I work on doing every single day. It's a habit that I developed. That's it. So anybody can develop these habits if they're intentional about it. And some days I suck at it. And some days I slip up and I'm not great. But I get back on the bandwagon. And that's why I put my goals in places that I can see every day. Because if I do catch myself like sitting on the couch watching Netflix for too long, all I have to do is look up and be like, didn't you say you wanted this? I think you said you wanted this. So how about you turn off Netflix and go be great and go like figure your stuff out. So that's really, really important. So again, I cannot harp on this enough, but really, how can you be managing the actions that you're doing and taking more effectively with the time that you have available? And realize that it's either time that you're going to be spending or money that you're going to be spending, and make the decision. So, that's one thing there. On that note also is really how can you start shifting your mindset around, like, you need to realize that there's a difference between being an employee and being an employer, right? There's a huge difference between being an employee and being an entrepreneur. They're two different like modes of thinking. They're two different ways of operating. Being an employee, you get a job, you show up, you do work, and every 2 weeks or every week you get paid. That is not the cycle that it runs in entrepreneurship. Just because you decide to build a business and put stuff out there does not necessarily mean you're going to get paid every week or every 2 weeks. So you have to start shifting this mindset on that regard also, and just like understanding what comes along with that. But also, for kind of back to the point on managing the time that you have and managing the resources that you currently have available, is start looking at yourself like a business. You are a business. Your 9-to-5 job is just your biggest client. And you have to shift your mindset in regards to that. You are no longer, none of us here are employees. We all are employers and we all are businesses. A lot of us just don't look at ourselves in that space. And I think sometimes we can get into this trap or get into this mode of thinking that we are tied to our life situation and that we have no control over the choices or decisions that we make because we have to go do this. You don't have to go do anything. You are in full control of your life. So when you start thinking of yourself like you are a business, Jerisha Hawk is a business. Ken, you are a business. Latoya, you are a business. Your 9-to-5 is just your biggest client. And you really need to start looking at from that perspective because your 9-to-5 job is really the vehicle that will fund your dreams. Okay? Your 9-to-5 job is the vehicle that will fund your dreams and will fund the lifestyle it is that you want to create if you use it effectively. So when I say that, a lot of people say, well, Jay, I don't have money to invest in my business. I need to go get a loan. I need to go get capital. I need to go and get investors. For 99% of you guys, you do not need any capital investment. You do not need to take out any bank loans to build your business. And this is another thing that I really want to make sure that we drive home. Because so many individuals think they need like $10,000 to go build a business so they can go quit their job. And I'm just calling bullshit on all of it. And the main reason why I'm saying that is because when you're throwing, like I said, for 99% of you guys, mainly because you're now just creating excuses as to like you're literally placing barriers in between you and your dream saying, well, I don't have the money, so I can't do it. Because it's so much easier to blame the excuses on why you can't live the life that you want rather than taking full accountability of your actions and what are you doing that you can control in your situation to get you one step closer to wherever it is that you're trying to be. So really, I don't know how else to like really describe this, but it's like you don't need all this big amounts of money for you to actually start and get going. And sometimes, yes, you will be. It's just really looking at your situation and how can you create smaller opportunities now that will fund and fuel so you can get to the next level and really maybe get to the bigger grand vision of where you're trying to go. So for example, some of you guys want to start restaurants or start bakeries, for example. Maybe you want to open up a bakery in a downtown area and you feel like you can't start that business because you don't have money to actually build a brick and mortar. But if you've never actually like made a cupcake and tried to go sell that cupcake to somebody to see if anybody even likes a damn cupcake, why in the world are you worrying about getting $50,000 in capital to go build a business? You haven't even tested the idea out yet. And there's so many other ways where you can be your own lender. So maybe you need to stop like splurging at Target down the school supply aisle, which I am fully guilty of, or buying the super cute mugs at the end of the aisle. I don't need to buy any more. Or like maybe you don't go get $400 weave every quarter anymore. Or maybe, like you just better manage the money that you currently have right now. So you can actually start using that money and save up, $15 here, $30 here, $100 here to invest in maybe hiring that first coach or working on getting that first workshop so you can move the needle. Or maybe it is for you can buy the supplies so you can actually start with your minimum viable product. Oh, my phone's about to die, per usual. But when I say minimum viable product, hold on guys, let me switch this camera up so I can put my charger on. Okay. But when I say the minimum viable product, it's what's the smallest thing that you could be doing or selling or creating right now that can generate profit, that will actually make you money and that will actually test the idea or the business idea that you have out. So if it is that you want to actually create a bakery brick and mortar, how can you make sure that people actually want, how can you make money right now? You start selling cupcakes, you start selling cakes, you go to local, like food market shops or whatever and start generating income. Then you can save the profit that you're creating at that smaller level and continue to build and build and build that so you can actually become your own lender in your business. You don't need to go get all this capital or all this money, because if you can't even manage the money that you currently have now, having more is not going to solve your problem. So that's all I got to say about that stuff, guys. I know I harped on that a lot, but I think it's really important that we start looking at ourselves as a business. you are a business. Your 9-to-5 job is just your biggest client right now. And how can you start leveraging your 9-to-5 job to actually fund and fuel your dreams and actually be the investor or be the lender to the business that it is that you're trying to create? And also, if you do have some of you, like I said, want to start a bakery. I'm actually kind of interested to know, pop in the comments, what type of business that are you actually trying to create? Because a lot of you are service-based businesses or digital product-based businesses, photographers, things like that. Like, you don't need a ton of money to get started. Like, I literally started my business for less than $300 when I first got started. And it's like my little sister just started a business yesterday with $0. She went on Canva, made a flyer, started promoting it on social media, and she got her first babysitting client. Like, you don't need all this money to get started. They just did an online gift shop, okay? Yeah, pop in the comments and let me know what business you're trying to create. Kelly said, I wish I had gotten this advice 1.5 years ago. It's not too late, God delivers the content you need when you need it, so I'm glad you're open to receiving it. Freelance content and copywriter, success coaching, personal and professional development, service, health and fitness. Like, none of you got personal development coach. All y'all need is internet and Wi-Fi to get started. Full service tutoring and coaching. Like, all you guys need is Wi-Fi, a laptop to get started. Like, even people saying I need more money so I can do my Facebook Live videos or do my YouTube. All of my videos are done on my iPhone. If you have a smartphone, an iPhone 7 or whatever, it's an amazing camera. Like, literally stop making excuses for all the stuff you don't have, and that's like what's stopping you from getting to the next level. Really be intentional on what resources do I have available to me right now that I could be accessing and leveraging, and how can I be using my 9-to-5 job? How can I save money in my 9-to-5 to actually, invest for that next tool that I need, the next piece of software that I need, or for that next coach or consultant I'm gonna need to help me get to the next level. Fashion business, exploring, offering online wealth building. Like, seriously, so all of you guys are really in the service-based industry. You really don't need a lot of money to get started. Like, I think the biggest thing for a lot of you, someone said positive empowerment for women and CARES Alliance Group, nonprofit services, management agency, home health care. So a lot of you guys, I think the biggest investment that you, for me at least, this is my personal story, the biggest investment I made up front was, one, I tested my idea out. So I did a few iterations of a small group coaching cycle and realized that people were, attracted to it, but I wasn't able to scale and grow it. And I knew that I wasn't being paid enough. That's when I realized that me doing 6 months on my own wasn't really getting me the results I wanted. And that's when I decided to use my 9-to-5, the money I had in my 9-to-5, to hire a business coach so she could teach me what it is that I needed to do and help me create a blueprint and a roadmap to get me to the next level. So I realized if I kept going at it the pace that I was going at, I'm like, I'd be damned if I wait another 2 years to try to figure this thing out. I'd much rather hire somebody, work with somebody, and move the needle and expedite my success versus trying to do this all on my own. So that's for that, guys. Some other metrics that you need to be making sure that you're measuring and managing within your lifestyle right now, so you can actually get to a place where you're replacing your salary, is if you are having a business or if you're in the beginning stages of you're starting to, really make sure that you track your income. I know too many of you guys who actually sell stuff, but you don't keep track of what you sell and how much you're actually selling, because it is that, you have to know if you're making money, how much money you're making, where is it coming from, how are you getting clients, what marketing efforts are actually producing results, what is actually selling, what isn't. Because if maybe you have 2 or 3 services and maybe one of your services sells consistently and the other service isn't selling, look at why that's happening. Is the other service not selling because you're not marketing and you're not promoting it and people don't know that it exists? Or is it because it's really not in alignment with what your full service suite is, and really you're focusing in energy and attention and money on an activity again in your business that isn't producing you results? So maybe you need to let it go. And I think Veronica, who's also in the Goal Getter group, she posted this in our free accountability group the other day, that before she was trying to offer too much. You know, she is an artist. She was trying to help people build a business. Like, she also like helped people create their own social media or did their own digital marketing or something. Like, she was in way too many different lanes, and realized that, like, hey, I need to just focus on what I'm really, really great at. And just because I can do all of these things doesn't mean that I should be doing all of these things. And it doesn't mean that I should be trying to offer all of these services as a part of my business. And that's probably the biggest revelation that a lot of you guys will have, is that you don't need to be selling everything that you know how to do. You know, really, as you start tracking your metrics and tracking your numbers, you'll begin to see a trend on what's popular, what's selling, and really where your time should be most properly like managed towards doing that thing. So if something's working and is selling, like double down on that and let go of stuff that's no longer serving you. Kelly said, are the tools you learned from your coach in FFI? I'd say partially. The stuff I learned with my coach at my very first coach, a lot of the stuff she taught me was stuff that was like probably 5 to 6 steps ahead of where I was at, but it helped me kind of think more long term. Like, she taught me more about like Facebook ads, sales funnels, like that type of thing. But she did help me like kind of with like the business basics on who was my ideal client and like how do I analyze my competition. But a lot of that stuff didn't click for me then. I mean, little things did, because again, she was able to teach me how to make money. So I was able to start setting up sales funnels, and I understood like how to get on discovery calls and how to automate that process to get people on discovery calls with me. But I've worked with other coaches who've taught me really how kind of, even though she taught me the same thing, other people sometimes explain it in a different way that made it click for me when it comes to like who I serve and how I offer value to my client. So I've kind of picked up more of some of what's in FFI over the past 6 months through working with different coaches and just through my personal experience. So some of the stuff, again, she's teaching me, but just the way that she communicated didn't necessarily sink in the same way as how somebody else taught it to me or how I learned through personal experience. So FFI primarily, Fuck Fixed Income, for guys who don't know, is my signature course and program. And it's all about how to build a space, and that's very, very specific. The stuff I was doing with my very first coach was much more about like digital products and scaling, meaning like using sales funnels and Facebook ads to make more passive income. But I also learned through working with her and just through personal experience that if you're just in the beginning stages and you really haven't actually provided a service to somebody on a consistent enough basis where you really have your process down, there's no point in you thinking about creating like a digital course or a digital program. And the reason why I say that is you really don't understand how to work with clients yet, and you really don't understand the process that somebody needs to go through in order to get the desired end result, because you haven't worked with anybody yet. So if you're just making a digital course and you actually haven't like tested this out, I would not start by making digital courses. Like for pretty much everybody who posted in the thread before about what your business is, all of you guys are service-based. Start by selling services. Like start by working one-on-one or in small group environments before you start thinking about making some grand old like digital course, because you're not going to know what the hell to put in the course because you haven't actually tested out the content yet. And that's another big gap I see, is everybody wants the passive income lifestyle, which is great, but you have to put in the damn work to get to the passive income lifestyle. Like there's no other kind way for me to say that. Yes, there's ways for you to make a passive income in the very beginning, because I used that as well to generate income in my business. I had like smaller digital product offerings. So it was smaller, lower price point, but I sold high volumes of it. But like for me to be doing FFI, Fuck Fixed Income, which is a digital course, it's $1,500. Like that did a 5-figure launch the first time I put it out. There's no way in hell I would have been able to create that course a year ago when I first got started to sell that as passive income. There's no way I would have been able to do that, because I didn't even understand my process yet or how to properly like structure my content, because I didn't know how to understand how to work with the client to really effectively do that. So that's like for a whole nother story. But some other things I want to make sure that you guys are, just to kind of recap on the things that you should be managing and tracking so you actually can get to a space where you're exceeding and replacing your income, is who has either gotten the result that you're looking to get for themselves, or they've helped other people achieve that result. So be very intentional on that, because one, we all work hard for our money, and just because you work with a coach does not guarantee that they're going to be able to give you results. And no coach can guarantee you results. They can really a coach's role is to help you speed up your process, and help you, like expedite your growth, and be the individual to kind of consult you and guide you along the way. But ultimately it's on you to get the results. But I would, just do your research, read referrals, read their testimonials on their website, that type of thing, to kind of vet an individual. So really, how can you actually, we've talked a lot about like the mindset that has to go into place, you effectively managing your time, you managing and creating better habits. But I know a lot of you guys are okay, like, well, how do I actually replace my income? So I want you guys to go back to those 3 numbers we talked about. What's your good, better, best? Your lights are still on. What's that number? What's the number in the middle where you're living comfortably? And then what's the number at the end where you're living good? And then I want you to create a list of 10 different ways that you can actually create money outside of your 9 to 5 to hit those income goals. And like, be creative in this space. And some people say, well, do the list of 10 things that I'm coming up with, do they actually have to be related to the business I'm trying to build? And I want to say, if you're in the very beginning stages, not necessarily. So, because I think when you're just getting started, a lot of you you're not going to fully know what it is that you're exactly trying to build, or you have an idea, but you haven't tested it out. You really don't maybe know exactly who your ideal client is. You don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work, or what products or services people want yet, and that's okay. You're not necessarily, you're never going to know until you put it out on the market and test it and see how people respond to it. So I would be creative and allow yourself to think without limits when it comes to writing a list of 10 things that you can be doing right now to actually reach that income goal. Because you may think that you're trying to solve one problem, but until you actually get out there in the market and see how your customers and how clients respond to what it is that you're trying to offer, you may realize that you're creating a solution to a problem that people aren't willing to pay to have solved. And that's a huge disconnect, where you're creating an ideal product or an ideal business for a non-ideal client, or in the reverse there. So be creative and like allow yourself to think without limits, and to create a list of 10 different ways and 10 different things you can do right now to hit that income goal that we talked about at the beginning, and go take action on that. Because you don't know if your digital product is going to sell until you actually put it out there and see how people respond. You don't know if people are going to want the service in the way that you have it packaged until you put it out there and test it. Like, so many people are waiting for the perfection to come, when the perfection is never going to come unless you go take the action and go see what the result is going to be. So that's really the biggest thing I have to harp on there. And I think overall, again, just really recapping, action is required. And like, it took me, like, I really feel like now, probably after 12 months, not like 10 to 12 months of me consistently showing up, frequently putting out different offerings and offering different services, continuously restructuring my packages, continuously restructuring my prices. It took me like 10 to 12 months to even get a firm grip on like who it is I'm actually serving and how I can best support them. So it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen just by you completing a worksheet or you going through a course. It's going to happen by you taking action and putting yourself out there and testing your ideas, testing your products, testing the market to see how people respond. And it's never going to be perfect. And if you wait for it to be perfect, you're never actually going to figure it out. And you're going to be sitting here watching this video a year from now, or hitting me up 3 years from now saying, Jay, I still haven't made any progress. And I'm going to ask you, well, what did you do? And you're going to tell me I didn't do anything because I was waiting for X, Y, and Z. And I'm not going to have any sympathy for you. So that's that. But I think probably the final note I have to make here, and again, if you guys have any questions, just pop it in the chat and I'll make sure to answer them. But the last thing I can say that I did that allowed me to replace my salary while, again, even exceeding and doubling, tripling my salary income. So if you have not been paying attention, like, tune back in now. The thing that I did that allowed me to replace my salary is by creating multiple streams of income in my business. And I cannot harp on this enough. I was super intentional at the very beginning, even though I wasn't able to set up all of these income streams right away. The fact that I had the vision for it allowed me to properly prepare for that next level. And it allowed me to not miss a beat, or to not stall my own progress because I wasn't thinking long term. So many people are thinking about tomorrow and thinking about, how do I get they're thinking about the vision of tomorrow or from a month from now. And I was thinking about the vision for my business a year from now, 3 years from now. And that allowed me to properly prepare and pay attention to things from a different lens that allowed me to get to this point that I'm in now. So the only reason why I'm able to like actually double my salaried income in my business is because I have multiple streams of income in my business. So I have a digital product called 7 Paths to Profit. And I made this because there's so many people at the very beginning stages who just, I don't know how to get started. I don't know where to get started. I don't know how to turn what I know how to do into income. And that's why I created that course to help individuals at that very beginning stage. But there's so many different ways that you could be generating income in your business. And it's important for you to think of a bigger vision, think more long term, even again, if you're not ready to fully implement all of those things. Because I started off with services, and that was one stream of income. But even though I knew, because I was working with a coach who was having me think about steps 5, 6, and 7 while I was on step 1 and 2, when I was creating my services, I was super intentional on documenting my process and collecting data and thinking through about, okay, is this working? Is this working? Is this not working? Because that allowed me to create fixed income, and that allowed me to create multiple digital products that I have now because I was being intentional about what I was doing with my clients back then. And if I was not thinking that long term, I wouldn't have been prepared to pivot and adjust and to create what I've created now because of it. So really, what are different ways that you could be generating income in your business? And some of you guys have already attended some of my lunch money trainings, but I'm literally going through the 7 paths of profit and 7 different ways you can make money in your business. And this is what I was thinking about at the very beginning. So you can have services, you can have a membership site, you can have, digital products, digital courses, you can have affiliates, you can have your 9-to-5 job as a stream of income. You could be doing like commission-based, white labeling your services where, if somebody, if I work for an agency, or maybe like Jordan and I here are partners, anytime that I need to recommend or refer somebody to go work with her, I get a cut of it. There's so many different ways, JV partnerships. There's so many different ways that you can be making money in your business. And even though you may not be fully established, I can guarantee there's at least 2 or 3 things you can be doing at the very, very, very beginning stages that can all be generating income for you. So that to me that's what I've been able to do to replace my income, is I have multiple streams of income in my business that make 4 figures a month on their own. So if I have, 4 or 5 different things that are all making anywhere from 3 to 4 figures a month, some 5 figures on their own, if one doesn't work out, I'm still covered financially. And that's really what allows me to have stable income, where I'm able to maintain like this, paycheck lifestyle that I was used to. Because me having services, I'm like really intentional on having clients pay me monthly, because I'm used to having a paycheck come in every month. So I have somebody has a 3-month package or a 6-month package, I'm receiving a check or a payment from them every single month, and that gives me a bit of stability in my income. And it kind of reduces that feast and famine in my business, which a lot of like service-based businesses run into, because they'll sell a bunch of they'll book themselves out at the very, very beginning, and now they have clients for 3 months, and then they make a bunch of money at the very beginning, but then at the end of 3 months they go into like famine mode because their client relationships end and they don't have anybody else. So it's important for you to like stagger your income and how it's coming in, and look for opportunities on where you can have it where you're getting monthly payments. So like a monthly membership group, my Goal Getter group, is a really another awesome income stream for me, because every month people are paying a subscription to my program, and it's something I'm able to really scale. It doesn't matter if there's 5 people in it or 10,000 people in it. The time demand on me doesn't change much, but it allows me to get consistent income. Selling digital products and digital courses, from a time perspective, once the course is created, most of the work is done because the content's there. Now my job is just to market it and sell it. I don't have to keep creating new content every single month for the program, and I can be more present, and show up for it, but I can launch it at different times and again create income in my business. So really, that's what's been those things that we just talked about here on, making sure that you know your numbers and you even have a vision for what like financial target you're shooting for. Second, measuring what matters and making sure that you're understanding how to track your efforts, track your actions, and manage, the time that you have most effectively. but also creating that plan to replace your salary. How can you generate multiple streams of income in your business that allows you to, create that comfortable, stable lifestyle? And again, how you can do that is make a list of 10 different ways that you can come up with money right now to hit that income goal and start taking action on it. And like I said, think beyond limits, like really allow yourself to get creative. And it's okay sometimes at the beginning that if you're having to do certain things that maybe aren't in full alignment with where you're trying to go, but it allows you to start generating income. So how can you create smaller baby opportunities that can create income for you, so then you can invest that profit into the real bigger vision that you're trying to create for yourself? So that's what I have for you guys today in regards to video 1 of the training on how to replace your salary and create a stable income that will help you maintain the lifestyle that you're currently living. I'm so excited that we have so many people who joined in live. If you have additional questions that you want me to answer one-on-one right now, again, feel free to just pop it in the comments and we'll go through a Q&A right now. I would love to chat. Just for you guys who are, excited about what's coming up, next Thursday at 7 o'clock again, we're going to be talking about how to handle insurance, taxes, and your 401k once you become your own employer. And then on August 10th, we're going to talk about discover the number one thing I did on a daily basis that allowed me to go from earning $1,000 to $15,000 to $30,000 in a month while still working my 9 to 5. So the video series is not over. We have 2 more weeks of content. I'm super excited just to be sharing this with you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are interested in being corporate dropouts or just thinking about what that process will look like, and this will really set you up for success. Kim said, I just love you. This is such valuable information. Oh my gosh, you're more than welcome. Thank you so much. This was really helpful. Good. I'm glad this was helpful, ladies. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Yes. This was very informational. Thank you and looking forward to the next 2 weeks. Good stuff. Like I said, if you guys have any specific questions, again, feel free to just pop it in the comments. I would love to answer your questions. I know sometimes we can talk vague, but sometimes you guys need, this is my situation. How can you assist? Brittany said, I have lots of sacrificing to get that 7 paths of profit. And so I want to talk about sacrifice real quick, because the past 14 months, I have had to make so many personal sacrifices to get to this space. And I understood the greater vision. I'm like, I'm making these short-term sacrifices for the long-term gain for my business and for my life. And a big sacrifice I made, I'm like, I do not want to get emotional about it, is spending time with my family and friends. My sister has been with me for the past, 4 or 5 days. And I have not been able to do this with her comfortably, stress-free, in over a year. And that's been really, really hard for me to mentally deal with, as well as a bunch of other things I've had to sacrifice as far as financially. But time-wise, it's been a huge thing. But I knew this entire time, I'm like, if I just keep busting my butt, focus on the bigger picture, create this lifestyle, build your bridge, set up a system that will allow me to have the freedom that I have now in regards to my time, where I can pick her up on a Monday and spend the entire week with her with no constraints and not pay attention to my phone, not have to worry about emails from my job, not have to worry about money or anything like that. I knew the bigger vision. And in the moment, it was really hard making those decisions, saying no, I can't come get you, or just not being present enough to even call her or text her. That was really, really hard. And so many times, it's hard for other people. It's hard when you're dealing with the external, because not everybody else sees your vision. So they just see you not being present, or saying no all the time, or me not going out to the club and me saying, no, I'm not going to go. I can't go hang out, or no, I can't go eat out 3 times a week with you guys because I need to save my money so I can actually pay my coach, or pay for Facebook ads, or pay for, Thinkific or Teachable or whatever platform it was. It was really hard. And you learn how to deal with it, and you learn to get better at it over time. But when you really think about what are those short-term sacrifices that I'm making right now that are going to set me up to be able to live this lifestyle that I have now, where I'm going to be able to have more financial freedom also to help her buy her laptop or help her buy her first car. or even just to be able to spend a week with her and not have to worry about anything. In the moment, it was really hard to do that. But honestly, 14 months of sacrifice to be where I'm at right now is worth every penny. It was worth every no that I had to say. It was worth like every time I felt like shit because I had to tell people I cared about no, that I can't do this, I can't do that. The short-term sacrifice is worth the long-term gains. You have to sometimes, not even sometimes, you really have to evaluate the investment that you're making, both with your time, with your money, and with your energy. Energy is so important in regards to who you're surrounding yourself with and who you need to say, like, yes, we can keep kicking it, and no, I need to pull back because you're really hindering my progress and you're not helping me grow. Sometimes those short-term sacrifices, and not even sometimes, I really believe like I would not have done it any other way, because those short-term sacrifices allowed me to be in the position that I'm in now, where I have way more freedom over how I manage and like control my time and manage and control my money. So there was numerous times where I went months without paying for my nails to get done so I could afford Facebook ads and actually start testing and doing that. Or times, like I said, where I couldn't go out to eat. I didn't go on vacation because I was paying, $1,000 a month for a coach. Or whatever the case may be. There's a ton of sacrifices you have to make, but like pick your hard. Yeah, it's hard in the moment to like readjust your finances or like, readjust your time, readjust your energy, but it's also really hard for you to look up 3 years from now and you to be in the same position. So it was really hard for me to make those decisions in the moment, but like for me to have you have to pick your hard. Just pick your hard. It's never going to be easy, and quitting isn't going to make your progress, is not going to speed your progress up either. So that's just what I got to say about that one. Let's see what other questions you guys have. Chanel said, do you feel that you were successful in the beginning because you already had a following? So I didn't have a huge following when I first started. So I don't know about that one. Like, I don't think I had a big following when I first got started. Like, there was numerous times I got on Periscope and Facebook Live and nobody watched my videos. Like, people didn't start watching my videos consistently probably until like 3 or 4 months of me doing them consistently. So I didn't have a big following. Like, I maybe had 2,000 personal Instagram followers when I got started, and I was just on my personal page. And then I maybe had like 1,500 Facebook friends. But so for me, I don't think I had a big following, and even then, people still didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, they knew me as being an engineer. I used to model. I think the biggest caveat for me that helped me in the beginning is I was really, like, my energy is really high. I started my first business in college, so I was able to pull from examples of that. And I just showed up. I mean, that's really what allowed me to be in the space I am now. I showed up consistently. Like, every week I did a Facebook Live or a Periscope, and I was terrified. Like, I love video now, but good God, I was terrified by it when I first got started, because I'm like, I'm getting on live and nobody's watching. I'm literally talking to myself. Crickets. And it got so awkward. You're sitting there talking to yourself, asking a question, and nobody's even watching to respond. But I showed up frequently and I showed up consistently, and that's what allowed people to like attract and like come to me, because I kept showing up for myself. So I don't think I had a big following at the beginning, and even still, like I said, nobody knew what the hell I was doing. Like, I came out of the gates creating these PDF worksheets on how to like create an action plan for your day. And I would post them on my social media and ask like, hey, if anybody wants this, give me your email and I'll send it to you. And that's how I grew my email list. And people knew that I was really good at goal setting. And that's what I started with. That's where the Goal Getter group came from. My first course or program was how to like be more intentional and create goals for your life and actually achieve them. So I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me at the beginning that helped was just that I showed up consistently. Every week I did a video. And video has been my bread and butter. I think it's just because I use it most frequently and I show up frequently and consistently on it. Like, there's no magic pill, y'all. Like, I guarantee you the thing that's gonna help you grow your business, and the thing that's gonna help you get your name out there, and the thing that's gonna help you to help people like take you seriously, is just you showing up consistently. Like, that's probably the biggest thing. So Yvette said, awesome as always. Thank you. Kiana said, thank you so much. You checked me good in my head. Patrice said, not focusing on perfection jumped out to me. I definitely get stuck on trying to make things perfect. So yeah, like one thing I do, because perfectionism is a big thing for me, is I launch everything before I'm actually done with it. Every course, every product, everything that you guys have seen me like create and put out there, I launched before I was ready. Every single thing. And I launched before it was done. Because I knew me, the perfectionist in me, if I would have waited until the program was actually fully complete on my end, I would never finish it. Like there's literally things on my wall now of products I wanted to create that are not created because I'm waiting for them to be done in my head, and they never will get done. So like Fuck Fixed Income, I launched that thing before it was done. Like I had 3 weeks of content of it created. It's an 8-week program. It wasn't finished. When I launched it, it wasn't finished when I started collecting payments. So everything I do, I launch before it's finished. And that allows me to move past that like issue of perfectionism that I personally have too, like you, Patrice. Because like the thing about entrepreneurship in this whole world, like, it's never going to be perfect. Like the only thing that you should be focusing on is your progress. Like, yes, you're going to fuck up. Yes, things aren't going to go right. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, you're going to slip and fall. But none of those things are failures. Those are areas of opportunity for you to learn and to grow. And you have got to shift your mindset. Like you cannot fail in this game. There is no such thing as failure. The only thing that can happen is for you to learn and to grow from it. And you'll learn either that didn't work, so I don't do it again, or that this did work and I need to go continue doing it. And as far like in regards to you putting yourself out there, like if you don't put yourself out there, people aren't going to come. And if you're waiting for it to be perfect, like, you're never going to get out there. You're going to be sitting here a year from now, 3 years from now in the same boat. So like, just go for it. Like, launch the shit. Because once somebody makes a payment to some course you said that you were going to create, I feel personally like now a huge sense of entitlement. Like, shit, I actually have to finish it. And then I finish it because somebody paid for it. And now like somebody else is financially holding me accountable to something I said that I was going to create and do for them. So take that with like, you know, I guess a caution of some sort. But every product I've created, everything, y'all, I put out before it was done. Because if not, we wouldn't be here and there would be no corporate dropout and I wouldn't be talking to y'all because it never would have got finished. Crystal said, can you give some advice? I own a home healthcare agency and staffing company. I'm stuck at creating the additional streams of income. What extra services could I provide? Crystal, I would need to know what services you currently provide. I just stopped talking to a friend. Okay. I don't know all of what you're currently doing. I mean, I know I've seen you posting a few times in the free accountability group and you kind of seem like really scattered and all over the place. Like you're doing home health care, you're doing like resume building, you're doing, I know there was like maybe 2 or 3 other things that I saw you doing. And I know we've talked quite a few times. I mean, I think when I say it's important for you to create multiple streams of income, and I think there's definitely opportunity for all of us here to have at least 2 or 3 streams of income right now, like your 9-to-5 being one, maybe affiliates being one, maybe like one small digital product being one, and then maybe a service. But you have to build one bridge completely before you can go build another. So like I think it's really impractical to think like, you know, I want to start selling hair. I have these amazing connect to temple raw Indian hair from India. Like it's beautiful, gorgeous hair. But I know that I can't really like be fully effective in creating that business until I get this right here, Goal Getter Group, like running real smoothly. And once this is running real smoothly, then I'll start going and creating that as like another like big, like 6-figure second income. But there's probably things that you could be doing that are really bite size that people ask for you all the time and you're doing the exact same thing over and over again that you can digitize and create into a digital product because you already have the process down, and then systemize your stuff and package it in a way where you can sell it passively. So I don't know all the assets of what you currently have available or going on in that, but look for the low-hanging fruit in that space. And if you have no idea, again, like where you could be making extra money in your business, I highly recommend checking out the 7 Paths to Profit. It's a $47 workshop. I think it's worth every penny, but it gives you additional ideas on how you could be making extra money and what those avenues are, and helping you actually create a strategy for it. Brittany said, yesterday's discussion with family and friend really got me thinking. I feel lost and time is passing me by. So Brittany, like if you're feeling lost, maybe hop in the comments and give me some more context there. But obviously if something that you're doing right now isn't working, what can you be doing differently? Like what environments can you intentionally be putting yourself in? Where can you, maybe you're not spending money on one certain thing. Where could you start spending money that you know will give you the results? Like what is it that you could be doing differently to help you move the needle? Because clearly what you're doing right now, you know, obviously isn't working or is making you feel lost. How can you adjust and shift? Because a lot of us know exactly what we need to be doing, but there's some fear or doubt or worry that's holding us back from taking that step. And really like get in tune with that. And I would like really understand what's going on in that space, because a lot of us know exactly what we should be doing. A lot of us know. But like I said, it's fear, worry, or doubt that's holding us back. Because like, oh, I can't make that investment, or I'm scared of what people are going to think, or oh, you know, nobody knows me as offering this service or starting this business. People are going to think like, who is she to be doing this? Like you really have to say fuck it to fear and like move forward on faith. Because clearly what you're doing right now isn't getting you and reaping the results that you're looking to get. So you have to do something different. Like something has to change in order for things to change. Brandy offered a really good suggestion. Kiana said, going through that now, very encouraging. I feel that way too, that no one knows and cares what I'm talking about. I mean, and Chanel, like nobody does know. When you're getting started, nobody gives a shit about what you're talking about. I mean, you have to give people a reason to care about what you're talking about. Like you have to provide value and continuously tell somebody on like why they should stop doing what they're doing, why they should give time in the middle of their day to go listen or to go read or to go buy whatever it is that you're selling. And that's your responsibility as an entrepreneur, is to create a solution to somebody's problem that they're willing to pay and pay attention to, that they're willing to actually pay for. So a lot of us entrepreneurs, we get caught up on this other E word, which is called ego. A lot of us get caught up on ego, meaning that like if I build it, they will come. Because I put it out there, they need to go read it. They need to stop what they're doing and spend their hard-earned money on me. And it's like, no. We all have to shift our mindset on focus on serving over selling. Because if you are not serving your client or serving the ideal audience that you're trying to reach, if you're not solving their problem, you know, your client does not give two flying shits about you making a blog post if it doesn't do something to help them, you know, save them time, save them money, or solve a problem they're trying to solve. They don't give two shits. And I know it's like harsh, but it's very, very true. So many of us get caught up in our ego. And just because you build something does not mean they will come. You have to build it. You have to tell people to come and give them a reason to stay over and over and over and over again. So that's a huge shift. But like when I first started, I mean, I felt so like self-conscious and like kind of like personally a little bit defeated. Like my ego was a little bit tarnished because I'm like, I'm literally going on Periscope and I have 2 people watching and nobody gave a heart. Or I'll make a Facebook Live video and I'm like, I never get any hearts, nobody comments. And it's because they don't know who I am. I haven't proven my value to them yet. So why should I? You know, I have to, that's why you have to keep showing up and keep giving your good stuff and keep providing value. And when I say providing value, you need to making sure that what you're offering gives whoever it is that they're stopping doing, they're giving you their time of day, which is that's the most precious resource we have. Or either they're spending their hard-earned money to buy something from you or to work with you. If you are not creating a value, meaning like providing them a return on their investment, and whatever that investment is, their investment might be access to their email address. And if you abuse that relationship, they're never going to spend money on you. Their return on the investment might be like you saving them time, or their return on their investment is they spend $47 with you. They go out and they make, you know, $1,000 from what you taught them. Everything that you do has to be focused on how is this benefiting my potential client, and how is this creating value for them, where them spending their time or their money is not like for waste. So yeah, and value everybody who does show up. If you have 12 people on your email list, you better love on them 12 people on your email list, because those are still 12 human beings that you have the power to impact and, you know, to touch. So don't again, ego pops in. We want these big numbers. It's like focus on serving the people who show up for you. And as you continue to serve and provide them value, it's going to naturally grow because they're going to tell people about you. They're going to be like, y'all, she helped me do X, Y, or Z, or, you know, I joined Fuck Fixed Income and she's helped me replace my salary. Like that stuff speaks volumes. So we have to, you start small, but it will grow. I love that concept, literally taking a leap of faith to push past perfection, focus on progress. Do you use ambassadors for your brand? Is it a worthwhile part of a business that offers products? So I know there's a bunch of businesses who use brand or use affiliates to grow their business. And I think absolutely it's a great way for you to generate income and kind of expand your reach outside of your existing audience. So I have affiliates. You have to be a client of mine to be an affiliate. So people who are in my monthly membership group, the Goal Getter group, if they're in there, they have an affiliate link where if they recommend somebody, they earn a commission off the sale. Same thing goes with my Fuck Fixed Income course. If you're a student of Fuck Fixed Income, you receive 30% off of anybody else you recommend to join the program. So that's how I leverage affiliates. But that's very new for me to start doing. Like I started doing affiliates like this year, like in the past few months. So I'm just dabbling with it, but there's no reason, so it depends on your industry or your brand. Like when I first started my first business, Love Struck, when I sold women's clothing and shoes, that's how I grew my business. I would link up with other like social media influencers and either pay them or send them my product to promote my clothes. And that's how I grew my business. That was my marketing scheme. So I think it can work effectively if it makes sense with your business model and you have a strategy for it. Serving over selling. I shifted my mindset as well, and people are choosing me for business and service. They are picking me out of a hat. Yeah. Persistence eventually pays off. Yes, love this. I'm excited to learn how to leverage and promote my passive income products more. Takora, that's so gonna happen with Goal Getter Elite. I cannot wait. You are correct on the fear factor issue. That's why I took the first step of joining the group. I want to find my voice. I'm wanting to break out of the fear shell. All of us deal with it. All of us deal with fear. Like it's a very human emotion. But I think once you realize that fear is a false like sense of reality, it's not real. We are literally creating the fear in our own minds, and once you learn how to like manage your mindset better, you're able to control that fear mechanism and recognize that yes, I still feel it, but it doesn't control on how I take action. And I think for me, the biggest thing that's allowed me to move past fear is by surrounding myself with other people who get the bigger vision and who can support me through the transition. So like me going through the transition of quitting my job, I had my business besties, Tiara and Jordan, who I called like daily when I started freaking the fuck out about what my decision was. And they helped me, you know, that, and I'm also in a mastermind group, a paid like high level mastermind group. And those two things are what supported me through that fear. Because it helped me realize like, Jay, the stuff you're scared about, you're okay. And if you're not okay, how can we create a plan or create a strategy that helps you comfortably move through it? So it's so important for you to surround yourself by people who get the bigger vision and who like truly love and support you, because you should not be trying to go through it alone. So I think I'm glad that you've joined and are getting support. So I know I don't see any other questions in here right now. Let me check the other Facebook groups and see if there's anything. And I don't see anything else. But you guys, again, I look forward to you guys joining me next Thursday. And then the following Thursday as well for the rest of the Corporate Dropout series. Brandy said, I'm building. I don't know how to get people to come. I boosted my first post this week. Now my Facebook post is up to 4 followers. Yes, I'm like, I need Goal Getter Elite to start now. Brandy, I know. I'm so excited for Goal Getter Elite because like it's about to be transformational. I was telling somebody else, like I wish somebody else was hosting my mastermind because I want to be in my own mastermind. But Brandy, we're gonna get you all the way together. Have you started going through Fuck Fixed Income yet? Like I know for any of the elite ladies who are watching, making sure you guys get up at least through module 2 before our mansion mastermind retreat in August is going to be really critical. More information to come, but check your inbox. I think I can offer you some things my friend did to grow her business. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys next. Oh, what do you think about the live audio versus live video? Kelly, I have not tested out the Facebook live audio yet. I'm definitely a video person, so I might dibble and dabble with it just to see kind of how people respond, but I don't know yet. I have not tested it out, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like, when I poll my audience, most people love video more than anything else. Audio does come second, and third is like written content. So I might play around with it. I'll keep you posted on how I test it out. Chrissy said, thanks for the first session. Good stuff. Yes, I'm glad this was helpful, everybody. Like I said, if you have additional questions that pop up, feel free to just leave it in the comments, and I'll be going through and watching this. If you haven't already, you guys will continue to get email reminders. You guys can get Facebook Messenger reminders. I'm testing out this whole new Facebook bot thing. So you can actually get reminders on, you know, when the videos are going to be, so you don't miss anything. Like I said, we'll be coming next week to talk about like taxes, 401k, and health insurance. And then the week after that, we'll be talking about the #1 thing I did on a daily basis that helped me really grow and scale my business rapidly. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Post your comments here, and I will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, guys.